Jake here for AmericanTrucks.com, and today we are taking a close look at the Roush Performance Side Exit Single Exhaust System for the 2021 and up Ford F-150 with the 5-liter V8. This is a high-quality Cat-Back system that's going to appeal to the Coyote-powered F-150 owner who wants a bit of that old-school muscle car flavor and maybe even some of that Roush racing heritage in their modern truck. Like you saw in the clips at the start of the video, this exhaust has a deep race-inspired tone that's sure gonna wake up the kid in everyone. And as you also heard, it makes some serious noise. So on the loudness meter, this one gets a 4 out of 5. So while it may not be quite as unhinged as, say, a set of pure straight pipes, it's certainly going to turn some heads. And even compared to other Roush systems, this is going to be on the louder side. There may be a bit of drone in the cabin, but you're still gonna get that really burly, aggressive tone coming out of the pipes. So if you're like me, and you don't mind that, and you enjoy a good bit of volume on your exhaust, this might be a great option for you. Now that brings us to the construction of the system. The entire thing is made of T304 grade stainless steel, and you can tell how nice it is as soon as you open up the box. That T304 steel is going to provide excellent corrosion and rust resistance, which is especially important if you're like me and you live in a snowy climate, or if you plan to do some off-roading. The entire system is made of mandrel bent 3-inch tubing. You can see there's no creases, no wrinkles, or anything in the bends here. So there's no compromise to structural rigidity, and it provides a nice, smooth path for the exhaust gases to flow. While we're on the subject of flow, I want to touch on the muffler. Roush provides an high-flow muffler in this kit that's going to give you that deep, muscly tone we heard earlier, and it also will allow your 5.0 to breathe a little bit better than the restrictive factory system. The whole thing is finished off with these nice polished tips, and they have a stamped Roush logo on them. These are also made of 304 grade stainless steel, and they're going to provide a nice, clean look to the end of your exhaust. One other thing I want to point out is that this is a single exit setup. So, despite the twin tips, this is going to exit in the same location as your stock exhaust, but it will tuck up a bit closer to the body of the truck. The twin tips provide a nice subtle update to the look as well. So for somebody who's paying attention, they're gonna know you've got something going on there, even if they haven't heard it yet. As far as pricing goes, well, this is made by Roush, so it's not going to come cheap. This system hits right around the $1,200 mark, and while there are certainly less expensive options out there, they're not gonna have the same build quality of this exhaust system. Let's dive into the installation a little bit. This one's gonna get a solid 2 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty scale, and it'll probably take you between 2 and 3 hours to get it installed. Reasoning for that 2 out of 3 difficulty is because while the system is designed to fit all 21 F-150s with the 5-liter Coyote engine, you might have to make a cut to this intermediate pipe depending on your cab or bed size. However, it is only this one cut, and it's very easy to do at home. Roush also provides you a handy measurement guide in the box, so you know exactly how much you need to cut for your truck. And aside from making that cut, the system bolts right up and it uses all of your factory exhaust hangers, so there's no modifications to the truck itself at all. And all the clamps that you need are included in the box as well, so you'll be able to get everything secured and bolted right up pretty easily. But enough talking about it, let's hop on over to the install bay and show you how to get this installed on your F-150.
Tools required for this install include a 1/2" and 3/8 impact guns, a ratchet, a 15mm wrench, a couple different size extensions, a 10, 15, shallow 17, 21, and 24mm sockets, a tape measure, a pair of safety glasses, a marker, as well as a saw. What's up, guys? Today I'm going to show you how to install an exhaust on our F-150. So first we're going to watch a quick little uninstall video, and then I'll meet you right back here for the install.
Start by grabbing your 13mm socket and undoing the 2 bolts at the flange. Next, take your exhaust hanger removal tool and get the muffler out of the isolator. Next, we're going to slide our exhaust towards the tail end so we can get them out of the 2 additional hangers. And then we're going to drop the whole exhaust as a full. I grabbed a buddy to help me out with that.
So before we get started with the install, it's important to note that Roush includes this long extension pipe. Now this is going to fit any combination of bed and cabs, so you're going to have to cut it to your appropriate size. For us, we have the Super Crew Cab with the 5.5-foot bed, which means we'll be cutting from the hanger flange. You're going to measure down 42.2 inches and then make your cut. Now another thing worth making note of is this kit is actually a universal between the last gen and this current gen F-150. So you have a couple flanges. The 21 plus are going to use this flange, and then you're going to have to cut your factory front pipe to get this bracket off to sandwich the flange. Previous to 2021, you're going to be using this flange with the threaded nuts on the back to install your exhaust. So now, as mentioned before, for the Super Crew Cab with the 5.5-foot bed, our cut's going to be 42.2 inches. So we're going to measure from the side with the hanger. And then we'll make our mark at 42.2 inches. So now we're over at the saw. We've got our pipe laid down, ready to cut. This would be a good time to grab yourself a pair of safety glasses, and then we can do our cut. So now once we have our cut made, we can go ahead and clean up the edges. So I'm over here at our grinder, and we can get started. So now we can go ahead and make the cut on our stock front pipe. Now we'll only be reusing this flange, so you can make the cut wherever you'd like. We're not going to be reusing any pipes. So now we can remove our flange that we'll be reusing. So now with our stock flange removed from our stock front pipe, we can slide that over our adapter pipe and then raise that up to our catalyst pipe. And now we can reinstall our hardware. We'll be using the factory hardware for this. Our hardware has been replaced, so we have a 17mm bolt and a 15mm nut on the back side. And now we can loosely tighten down our flange. We'll leave it a little loose so we can come back at the end, make our final adjustments, and then tighten everything down. We'll go back and forth to put even pressure on our flange. So now we can take one of our 3-inch clamps and slide that over our front pipe adapter. And then we'll take the extension pipe we cut. We'll put it through this hanger first, and then slide it into our front pipe. Now we can slide our clamp into place and use a 15mm socket to loosely tighten this clamp down. So now we can grab another 3-inch clamp and put that over our muffler inlet, and then slide our muffler over our extension pipe. Now we can slide our clamp into position and loosely tighten this down with a 15mm socket. So now our over axle pipe is going to use both of these factory hangers. To make it a little bit easier to install, we're going to remove them, put it onto the over axle pipe, and then put it all back in. Now there's going to be a 10mm bolt on the bottom of this one, as well as on the inside of the frame rail. And this one, there's just going to be one 10mm bolt on the right side here. So I'll take that 10mm socket and remove this first bolt. And then it's gonna bend down and you can pull it right out of that tab. So now with our hangers removed, we can get them installed onto our over axle pipe. Now this is going to be the frontmost part of our pipe, so it's going to get the frontmost hanger. So now for our rearmost hanger, we have to remember that this tab here goes to the inside of the frame rail. So looking at it from the back of our pipe, it's going to be on the left. So then we can get this one slid on. And then we can get our over axle pipe installed on the truck. Now we can take another one of our 3-inch clamps and slide it over our muffler outlet. And then we'll take our over axle pipe and fish it over the axle. And now we can get this clamp back into position. So this side's going to slide into this big square hole. And then we can take that 10mm bolt and put it through our other side. And now we'll take our 10mm socket to tighten this bolt down. So now we can do that same thing with our rearmost hanger. Lift that up into place and get our hardware started. And then we can grab our 10mm socket to tighten these down. And now we can slide our clamp into position and loosely tighten that down with a 15mm socket. Now next, before we go ahead and install our tips, we're going to have to add a hanger. Now this is going to go underneath of this bolt on our leaf spring. So we're going to have to loosen that up a couple threads so we can slip that in. Now it's going to be easier to install this onto the Y pipe for our tips first, and then we can line it up with our over axle pipe and slide it in under our bolt. So now on the back side of our bolt, we have a 24mm nut. So we're gonna get a 24mm socket on a ratchet on there. And then the front side is gonna be a 21mm. So we're gonna take that off with a 21mm socket. Now since there's a nut on the back, you're gonna wanna put a little bit of pressure on this ratchet so that bolt pops out this side instead of the nut popping out on that side, so that we can get our hanger in between our bolt. So now we'll take the last of our 3-inch clamps and slide that over our over axle pipe. And then we can get our Y pipe for our tips slid into place. Then we'll take our hanger and pull down on our exhaust a little bit, slide it up in there. So now we can take that same combination of tools. We'll grab a 24mm socket on our nut side, and then get a 21mm socket on our bolt side. And we'll tighten this up a little bit at a time and slide our hanger up. And now we can slide our clamp into position and loosely tighten that down with a 15mm socket. So now we can take one of our 2.5-inch clamps and slide that over our tip, and then slide our tip over our Y pipe. And now at this point, you can adjust this to have as much poke as you would like. And then we'll just take our 15mm socket to tighten down this clamp. And then we can do the same thing on this side. So we'll take our other 2.5-inch clamp, slide that over the edge of our tip, and then slide our tip onto our Y pipe, and tighten down the clamp with that same 15mm. So now we can start at the front, working our way back, tightening down all of our clamps and flanges once we get our exhaust in the position that we like it. So we'll start up front. Our hardware was replaced, so we have a 17mm bolt with a 15mm nut on the back. Now we can grab the 15mm nut on the clamp on the front side of our extension pipe. And now we can grab the clamps on our inlet and the outlet of our muffler. And now we'll grab the last 3 clamps on our Y pipe. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the Roush Single Exhaust System with polished tips and side exit for your 2021 and newer 5.0 liter F-150. Thank you for watching, and remember, for all things F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.